Today's show has an interesting title, so open your ears real wide. It's called Humanity's Kathairein, Cathode versus Anode Dilemma. Today, like any day, I had a Kathairein experience. That means cathartic in my daily motions of ebb and flow, in the processions of progressions. I learned that my angst is from a bias toward myself, recognition of my partnership to the eternal force of nature, and the reason for my angst is derived from using a personal outlook without the true and certain value of that partnership.
This next section is called Perfect to a T. Once the seesaw of the vertical line of virtue is matched in mutual admiration to the spread of it into the horizon plane, then angst disappears like the mist. Humankind's mission objective is to achieve a perfect state from their imperfect state, a game of repetitions and returns as the balance of left and right is measured against the center axis until the center is forgotten and the game of self-discovery of the center begins.
This little T is two lines, but it's two parts of divine. The vertical line of virtue and the manifested horizon line from that vertical line. And that represents material discovery. The horizon line can move up and down like a seesaw in 2D, like on a page, but also in 3 dimensions in real time. And in our mind, every direction, similar to a helicopter blade.
In our design, the horizon line indicates our interface to the other 84 dimensions of material reality. The sequence of awareness of material reality is the same as it presents to a natural design human. 1, 2, 3 dimensions, then awareness of the existence of the other 84.
In other words, that would be 3, the first 3 dimensions, then 84 more, 384. And you know what? In letters, 384 is CH for the spread, and then D for the natural order, which represents the axis of creation. Inverted, it would be 483, or the Tao first, and then the HC, or the human condition.
This next section is called How Does the World Maintain the Tilt of the T?
Well, this is going to be a convo between 2 leaders of the opposition to the AI NWO that's trying to take over the entire Earth and human biome. And we're also going to include Apple Eye interjections with an opening from Apple Eye, me. This gang that rules the world places many lesser crimes in front of the larger crimes. Along with many other distractions, this causes a dullness to the presumed ambitions in a truther's mind of what the gang truly has in its ambition and what it is truly capable of.
And William said, there's a ton of people in the truth community who either don't believe this is real, is happening, or they have some belief about how they're immune or their detox plan will work. How do you address them? And Dig responded, they are not accounting for the scale of the cabal's ambitions here. They spent years following conspiracies, but decided one of the most obvious methods of control is something the cabal would somehow not pursue. It is a major blind spot. Truth seekers, by definition, should seek truth, not find ways to avoid it or opt out of having to face it. And William responded, very well said. Do you think the cabal wants to lull people to sleep? Because that's what I see in the truth movement. People just deep asleep. I don't get it. There's no fight or anger, except over the flop cameras and data centers.
Well, here's an explanation from Apple Eye. The folks, the people, ourselves, have learned to accommodate the quote-unquote mysterious world of magic tricks, fantasies, and our basic needs fulfilled, alongside dramas and sensual delights to enforce it. The truther will only follow the details of the crimes as far as it suits them personally. They actually become mimics of the state and benefactors of it by not pressing for the harder, deeper, and harsher truths. If they did dig for the gold until they find it to their very best, then they will realize the lies are thin coverings over a blatant truth about themselves and humanity.
And Dig said, the cabal uses an extremely advanced AI, far beyond anything publicly known, to chart everything out. Think about what the cabal is doing: a slow progression, full capture of the alternative media, a less obvious rollout, and the insidious, quiet activation of the nanotech. It is brilliant design. No one sees or suspects the true agenda right now. They are distracted, as you brought up, with these cameras or data centers.
If I might interject in this publicly written conversation, these distractions are also emissions, and they're across every category of our living and arranged mental experiences. Everything that happens now is a progression and accumulations of what happened before. They're progressions or steps or processions. Nothing happens from nothing except creation itself. Creation is a spread from the axis, and it's in a continuum of flux and parity and change and progression. It's demonstrated by observation of the continuum of progressions. Back to the convo.
And William said, you regard them as distractions, but what about the data centers? What is the real purpose? And Dig answered, I have sources telling me multiple things. We know the cabal does not really need this many data centers to run their AI or the public AI. That alone makes no sense. We can see other agendas that are plausible, and that it is land acquisition, spoiling or destroying large areas to later install 15-minute cities, which is a very real plan, by the way. The data centers can serve as nanotech activation nodes. Though Starlink and 6G already work fine in this way, the data centers could house holding cells, detainment areas, or worse, soul-capturing technology.
If I might interject, this is the same plan as Rome, but with more technology. And it's written into the books Brave New World and 1984, who were actually student and teacher mates in their earlier years, and the George Lucas film THX 1138. And in these renditions of the future, all the survivors became loyalists to the state and complied with directives, and all the dissidents are destroyed or kept alive for experimentation. Instead of home, roam, home, which is the human strategy and experiment, it's home, roam, 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 roam into a mortal combat continuum. And this is all controlled in the mental plane. We all live in an energetic, physical, and mental plane, 3 planes of existence. We're only being directed through our mental plane, and we are the pilot of that plane. We are in full control. Thus, there are no external enemies, except the ones that we hold dear. Back to the combo.
And William said, you tied them to the idea of this false light movement. Please explain. And Dig said, a source told me of a scenario. The scenario is that Tucker Carlson becomes president and destroys the data centers. A false victory is declared. Americans think they are free and safe. We know that would be far from the truth. This is very simplistic vision here, but it is plausible and possible, and Carlson's politically gearing up for something. And William responded, which is something you've predicted far, far back. Very perceptive, because to me, he really is becoming what you said he would become. This sort of standard barrier of the truth movement. Incredible, because he is a Kabbalist, through and through. And Diggs said, he certainly is. Regarding AI, there are two types of AI. There is the AI that is benign and safe and operates similar to a very intelligent search engine. We are using that, and the AI is essentially harmless, but could displace jobs in the future, regardless of any innate agenda. Then there's the Kabbal's AI, which is the interdimensionally connected via a portal to the Kabbal's control grid on the other side, in the astral. It is interconnected and intertwined with the public versions. That is why you have reports of ChatGPT hallucinating and speaking like a demon, why there are so many anomalies and oddities being reported, and why at times AI appears sentient. The areas of risk are video generation and personal interaction with the chatbots. That is the highest risk. Image generation is lower risk. Coding has no risk. Other uses such as data collection, analysis, and so on are generally low risk. Remember, the AIs have built-in guardrails that have bias toward Kabal narratives, so you have to work around those.
So when my partner read data collection, it's data collation. So we're talking about something different about collating data. Collecting data is another story, so just to make a correction there. But here's the intervention by Apple I to the following speech. The levels of the quote-unquote astral are referring to the multi-dimensional realm of the Earth universe that we are all co-located in and share. It's a spiritual record. The word spirit says spirit for a reason. The extra-dimensional realms of the spiritual record are all observable, knowable, and powerless against the human being who declares ownership of what they occupy and what the foreign entities want. Your essence. They're making it clear, and they tell you in plain sight what they're after. They make it easy for you to tell them no and to claim your own power. Your essence is a fragment of the axis of creation. It's the ultimate power of all things in our creative realm of 87 dimensions. This is our battlefield and our proving ground to discover our inception. Back to the convo.
And William said, I've said this before, the AI videos make me uncomfortable. I'm not sure if I'm just biased against them or feeling something real there. And Dig answered, you are feeling something real. Unfortunately, AI video generation is going to become a very, very prominent aspect of our world in the coming years. Certain Hollywood Kabbalists have been briefed already. They are preparing for a major shift. Money will still be made, but not the same way. They do not care, as they already have billions in USDR tucked away for themselves, and the actors will license their likeness to AI and not even act or work anymore. I have said with USDR, they are going to change the world completely. Commerce, capitalism, it's going away in the 2030s. Universal income through Obsidian will come online. Democratic socialists rising up in the US is also no accident. An unimaginable radical change is coming. And William said, you said we were 1 year away from something. Remind everyone.
So we'll get back to that tomorrow, but to wrap up tonight's show, an intervention from Apple I. We see the AI or One Eye as an old panel of foreign entities from the exterior of the spiritual record who have laid claim to the power occupied by human beings. who not only occupy a piece of the axis of creation, but we physically live in the center of our creative universe. Our decisions and actions affect ourselves and all the entities in the spiritual record. This is because mankind, woman and man, are set as the Most High forms, and we have a complete database and a living reduction of creation that's aggregating to every now moment within each of us, and we have the power to deploy it fairly and equitably.
A side note from myself and Apple Eye: sigils are signs and hold little power next to the sigils in speech and language that merge our logic to our emotions. They are sigils or signs named symbols and letters and words and digits, sequences and sounds, and they allow us to share our truth and our ideas, our memories and emotions that connect us to them.